Hey yo, this is Dash, and today I want to talk to you about the Maverick XR-50. It's going to be my initial impressions, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. I really wanted to like this. Let's talk about it. Hey yo, this is Dash. Yeah. Okay, so let's not beat around the bush. This is the new XR-50, which is an extended range wireless thermometer by Maverick. Okay, now in order to talk about this, I have to talk back about some of the other Maverick / Ivation products I have. So now let's talk about some of the other Ivation products I have. Here are 4 different receivers I have already. And here's just one of the transmitters I have already. Now, as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now these are 3 of the Ready Check, which are Maverick. These are ET733s. Okay. 3 of these. And then I have one of this Ivation. Same product number basically. Well, this has a model number. It says IVAWT738, which is similar. For all intents and purposes, they are the same. They get programmed the same. The buttons, the layout is slightly different, but they get programmed the same. Now, I've had this particular transmitter for 4 years. Okay, so it gives me a leg up on these different transmitters because I know them very well and I use them a lot. These 2 I don't use anymore because the sound is unfortunately dead on both of those, so I had to replace them. So I got the black unit here, and this is the Ivation, which replaced this one. So if you go out to Amazon, there's actually a link down below. The Ready Check Maverick thermometers are actually you can no longer find them, but you can find the Ivation one. There's this one, which is the big one, which has the high and the low. Here, I'll turn this on, and it shows, hopefully you can see that because, all right, so let's see, you can kind of see that it has a high and a low and a meat setting, and you can set your meat setting to whatever you need it to be, and you can also toggle between having this set to food and or this set to barbecue. The number up here is the 1 is going to be showing the top number there, and unfortunately because I don't have the transmitter on, it's not going to actually show a true temperature. But all of that to say, I'm more of a power user when it comes to these thermometers. Now, quickly let's look at the Maverick. Okay, so again, here's the Maverick, and I'm gonna try to do double camera duty here so we can get a closer look. And this one powers on very quickly, and we see that the temperature reads very quickly as well. That is where things kind of get a little tricky. Okay, so let's talk about programming this. So what you see right away, you notice there are 4 prongs, okay, 4 temperature probes, and that's fine. I only have 3 of them connected right now, and the program this is drop dead simple, but there are some things that I don't like. I personally don't like the fact, oh, see, there's one of the things I don't like. The stay on the back, it's not necessarily, if you have it like this so you can see it, just like you saw it just fall, that has happened to me a couple times on both the transmitter and the receiver. So this is the transmitter and this is the receiver. The transmitter has the probes and this is the receiver. So now the way this works is, if you want to program it, the programming is easy enough. Now unfortunately you have to program it on the transmitter. So you press whatever number probe you want to start programming, and then it starts blinking. You press it again to get to your set point, and then you can raise your set temperature, and then you have to press set, and then it'll go to the lower temperature. One of the things that I don't like is this. So let's say I have my low temperature. So let's say I'm working in the smoker, okay, and we're looking at these numbers up at the top. So I say, all right, I'm going to modify number 2. I'm going to press this. I'm going to reduce this temperature. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong way. I'm going to reduce this temperature. Now, on the old one, if you hit this, it would automatically change this and drop it down 2 degrees below whichever your high point number was. So let's say I go from having it to be on barbecue, or if I just change the temperature. If I just change the temperature and I need to modify this, it is smart enough to know that if the high temperature goes lower than the low temperature, it'll automatically change it. This one, it just has a hard stop. That's a little annoying to me. Again, because the way that I use it. Now, one of the other things that I don't like about this one is the low temperature alarm. With these, okay, and I'll just pick this one up. With this one, if I'm working in the smoker and I have the temperature probe set in the smoker, and here is the resultant of this probe being in the smoker, okay, and you can see where the ring that was holding it is not discolored, but everywhere else is, because that's what happens. But if I have the probe in the smoker, and if I have the probe in the smoker and I open up the smoker door, okay, the temperature inside the smoker is going to fall. So let's say the temperature gets below this 220 degrees. Well, on the old one, if it got below the temperature, I could just press any button on this, I could press any button on this screen and it would stop the alarm. I haven't quite figured out which button needs to be pressed on this. I guess on this one, you can press this button. Don't press this because it will turn it off. Ask me how I know. This one, I don't know whether you have to press the specific button, because I tried pressing the Fahrenheit Celsius, you know, to change it from degrees to Celsius, and or Fahrenheit to Celsius, and it didn't seem to work. This alarm button turned off the alarm. Okay, so you can see this right here, this dot with the sound symbol, that is the alarm being on, and you can't turn, and I don't believe you can turn individual alarms on or off. Let's see. So there's that one. Oh, no, it turned off all 4 alarms. Part of the main problem is if you turn there's no in between with the alarm. Either the alarm is on or the alarm is off. I can't turn off alarms for individual probes. Now, the pet peeve that I had, again, and I started saying this, is the problem is with the low temperature alarm. When I'm using this and I'm out in the smoker, and let's say I have to put some sauce on some chicken or sauce on some ribs, or I'm taking something out of the smoker. If this hits this low temperature of 220, what then ends up happening is that it'll keep beeping. I turn it off. Oh, okay, I acknowledge the alarm, and yet it keeps beeping. It'll beep longer, it'll beep again in 10 to 15 seconds. I didn't time it, but it'll beep again. Okay, now one of the other another problem I have, and again, because this is how I'm used to using them, with the transmitter, I really don't need it to do much of anything. Whereas here, and then these buttons, these buttons are on the back of the transmitter, in case you were wondering where those buttons were. But this, I sit it out on the shelf on the smoker, on top of the smoker. But the problem I have is, if I need to reprogram this, like let's say my fire is getting a little higher and I'm coming towards the end of a cook, and I say, okay, you know what, I can allow the smoker to get a little warmer, or I can allow the smoker to get a little cooler. What happens is I have to take myself out to the smoker and make my adjustments here. To me, or for me, that doesn't work. I need this transmitter I have in my pocket, or I have inside the house while I'm doing something. That means I'm trying to multitask while everything is cooking. I don't want to have to stop doing what it is I'm doing in the house. Let's say I'm prepping or cleaning up. I don't want to have to stop it in order to go out to the garage, which is a good 300 feet away from my kitchen, to reprogram this. Personally, I like the programmability to be here. Maybe there's a way where you can program on both sides to control that. That will be my perfect solution. Okay, so in a nutshell, there are some things that I like about it. I do like the range. I do like the big screen. I don't like the changes that were made from the transmitter to the receiver and the controls being switched vice versa. In a nutshell, would I suggest you buy it? I don't know. If you are used to using these, it is going to be a steep learning curve, because I have to change some of my habits to tailor to that, especially the reprogramming of it. I don't want to have to run all the way down to the garage to reprogram it, but having the ability to monitor 4 different heat zones, let's say, in my smoker, that's a good thing. In Vicky the vertical smoker, I have 4 shelves in there. I can essentially find out what the temperature is on each of the 4 shelves. On the new smoker, the big smoker, who is now called Bernadette, we named Bernadette on a live stream recently, I can tell in the 4 corners of the smoker what the temperature is. That is where I'm going to start probably using this particular thermometer most, so I can get a more precise reading of the temperatures inside of the smoker. Unfortunately, for food right now, I think I'm going to probably continue to use some of the older Ivation or Ready Check thermometers that I already have, the Maverick thermometers I already have, only because I've been using these for so long. I'm like indoctrinated in this particular universe, and I gotta get another one of these. I looked it up today. The first one I purchased, and this is why this one says number 1. I used to only use the transmitter, one transmitter with this one, and the 2 transmitter with this one. And you see, I put these through the paces. Like this little piece here has come off, and you know, it's fine. The backs have broken off over time. This one, the little thing is fine. This one is broken off. I mean, I really use and abuse these things. This is the only one that the stand actually still works on. But I do use and abuse these things. So I am going to be able to use that Maverick, and I left it over on the door. I'm going to be able to use that Maverick thermometer, remote thermometer. I'm going to definitely put it through its paces. So come back in maybe another month, maybe 2, and I'll see if I have adjusted to the differences between the old Maverick thermometers and the new XR-50 Maverick thermometer. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna say this one is it worth your money for the $80 for the 4 probes? For me to be able to monitor 4 different sections in my smoker, yes. For me to be able to monitor, you know, 2 separate sections in my smoker. Let's say I have a Oklahoma Joe and I have a, you know, that offset. I can see the hot side and I can see the cool side, or I can see hot, cool, you know, in the middle, and then have a probe for my food. Those things are great. I have to learn how to deal with the differences between this new thermometer and the ones that I've been using in the past. So those things being said, I really appreciate you watching, sitting through this video. I know it was a lot of talking. Hopefully I was able to do the camera work necessary to get this one put out correctly. If you like what you saw today, if you learned something today, please leave me a thumbs up down below. Thank you so very much again for watching. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.